Greetings to the seekers of truth, the connoisseurs of the untold, and the heartbeat of the entertainment world. You have returned to the inner sanctum of celebrity analysis. Welcome to Mr. Magazine. In a landscape where headlines are often manufactured for a fleeting click, we pride ourselves on being the architects of depth, peeling back the layers of the industry until the raw, unvarnished truth is all that remains. Today, we are standing on the precipice of a seismic shift. We are witnessing a moment so rare, so visceral, and so fundamentally shattering that it has redefined the trajectory of one of Turkey's most enigmatic stars. The digital world has been set ablaze. The silence that once acted as a fortress around the private life of Barış Baktaş has not just been broken, it has been annihilated. In an interview that can only be described as a psychological manifesto, the Kaan Sisakleri phenomenon has delivered a verdict that has left the industry breathless. We are talking about the deconstruction of an idol, the revelation of a hidden mask, and a name, Yagma Yakul, that has emerged from the archives of the heart to haunt the present. Before we descend into the dark corridors of this betrayal and dissect the words that have divided a nation, I must ask you to cement your place in our community. If you demand intelligence over gossip and substance over scandal, please destroy that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell so you are never left in the shadows. For the true patrons of this craft, the join button is open. By clicking it, you become the backbone of Mr. Magazine, allowing us to maintain our independence and our commitment to the truth. Your support is the engine of this channel. Now, take a deep breath, and let us turn the first page of the end of an era. For months, the tabloid world had been a desert, devoid of any real substance regarding the domestic life of Barış Baktaş. The actor, known as much for his stoic discipline as for his searing on-screen intensity, had treated his private world like a classified government document. No leaks, no cryptic posts, no accidental sightings. But as any student of human nature knows, the most profound silences often precede the most violent storms. In the first days of this year, the dam finally burst. Emerging from the grueling, oxygen-depleting schedule of his latest filming commitments, Baktaş sat down for an interview that was intended to be professional but quickly turned into a spiritual autopsy. Those in the room describe an atmosphere of heavy, crackling electricity. Initially, he was the Barış we know, calm, controlled, a master of his own narrative. But the moment the name Gülüm was uttered, the armor didn't just crack, it dissolved. His facial expression shifted from the practiced neutrality of a leading man to the jagged edge of a man who has been pushed to his absolute limit. This was not a calculated PR move. This was a man whose emotional reservoir had reached a point of catastrophic overflow. He began to speak, not as an actor reciting lines, but as a person reclaiming his reality from a web of sophisticated illusions. The core of this interview. The phrase that is currently being dissected by millions of social media users across the globe is a sentence that will likely haunt the career of Gülüm for years to come. Gülüm isn't as innocent as she seems. In the theater of public perception, innocence is the most powerful currency a person can possess. It creates a shield against criticism and invites a protective instinct from the masses. For a long time, the public narrative had painted Gülüm as the fragile center of the storm, the victim of a difficult industry and a complex relationship. But Baktaş, with the precision of a surgeon, has removed that shield. From the outside, I gave the impression of being a fragile, innocent, and victimized person, he mused, reflecting on how he had facilitated that narrative. But over time, I realized it was a mask. The use of the word mask is particularly telling. It implies a deliberate, conscious construction, a performance designed to manipulate the observer. Baktaş isn't just accusing her of a mistake, he is accusing her of a facade. This revelation has split the fanbase into two warring factions. On one side, the loyalists of Baktaş are celebrating this day of reckoning, seeing it as the ultimate vindication for the silent suffering they suspect he endured. On the other, the defenders of Gülüm are crying foul, claiming that these words are too harsh, too raw, and perhaps a byproduct of a man who is simply unable to let go of his own bitterness. But regardless of which side you take, the image of the innocent Gülüm has been permanently altered. The porcelain has shattered. I want to pause here for a second, my dear Mr. Magazine family. I want to ask you a question that touches on the very nature of human connection. Do you believe that we ever truly know the people we love, or are we all just falling in love with the masks they wear for us? Have you ever had a moment where the true colors of a partner left you unrecognizable to yourself? I am incredibly curious to hear your philosophical insights. Please share your stories in the comments below. Your voice is what makes this channel a community. According to Baktaş, the relationship did not die in a single, dramatic explosion, but through the slow, agonizing erosion of trust. In the world of high-profile fame, trust is the only oxygen available. Without it, the relationship suffocates. Barış spoke of a period where he was constantly forced to give explanations, where every movement was scrutinized, and every silence was interpreted as a betrayal. I was constantly questioned, he admitted, his tone hardening with the memory. This went completely against my nature. For a man who values autonomy and professional discipline, being placed under a psychological microscope by his partner was a form of incarceration. It is reported that during this period, Baktaş became a shadow of himself on set. He was physically present but emotionally sequestered, a silent observer of his own life who avoided his colleagues and retreated into the safety of his craft. Work kept me going, he stated simply. This is the tragic paradox of the elite performer. The set, which is usually a place of intense pressure, became his only sanctuary from the turmoil of his home. His work was not an escape from his life, it was the only part of his life that still made sense. Perhaps the most poignant part of this revelation, and the part that has resonated most with traditional followers, is the involvement of the Baktaş family. Rumors have long circulated in the inner circles of Istanbul that the elder members of the Baktaş clan were wary of Gülüm from the very first introduction. They saw something in the shadows that Barış, blinded by the initial light of a new beginning, refused to acknowledge. My family always wants the best for me, Barış said, a note of regret coloring his voice. I wish I had listened to some of the warnings sooner. To admit this publicly is a significant cultural gesture. It is an acknowledgement that his individual heart was wrong and that the collective wisdom of his lineage was right. It suggests that the damage caused by this relationship wasn't just individual, it was generational. It affected his roots. The image of a son returning to his family and admitting they were right is a powerful narrative arc. It positions Gülüm not just as an ex, but as a foreign entity that almost succeeded in severing a man from his origins. This adds a layer of belated realization that makes his current stance feel even more resolute. He is not just leaving a woman, he is returning to himself. We are diving deep into the psychology of fame and family today. If you are enjoying this level of analysis and want to ensure that Mr. Magazine remains your primary source for high-quality narratives, please consider clicking that join button. Your membership provides you with exclusive perks and helps us stay ahead of the curve. And don't forget to like and comment to help our community grow even stronger. And then, we arrive at the eye of the storm. The moment the interview transitioned from a breakup story into a legend. The mention of Yagma Yakul. In the history of Turkish television, few partnerships have achieved the mythological status of Barış Baktaş and Yagma Yakul. Their chemistry was a lightning strike that defined an era. When their professional and personal paths diverged, it left a void that fans have been trying to fill with rumors and hope for years. During this latest interview, when the inevitable comparison arose, Barış did not shy away. When you lose someone, you understand their value, he said, his voice dropping into a register of profound reflection. Looking back on the past with the current perspective, I see some things more clearly. These are the words that have truly shaken the celebrity world. They are not just an appreciation of the past, they are a direct comparison to the present. By praising the value of what he had with Yagma in the same breath as he deconstructs the mask of Gülüm, he has essentially canonized Yagma as the lost truth of his life. This has instantly reopened old wounds. Social media is currently flooded with "I told you so" messages from the Dilbar and Yagma loyalists. The question "is this happening again?" is not just about a reunion, it's about the realization that some bonds are irreplaceable. Baktaş has essentially admitted that in his quest for a new beginning with Gülüm, he might have overlooked the eternal truth he already possessed with Yagma. It is a painful, mature, and deeply human admission of error. As of this moment, the world is waiting for the counter move. Gülüm, the woman accused of wearing a mask, has remained remarkably silent. In the world of celebrity gossip, silence can be a sanctuary, but it can also be a prison. Some commentators are calling it the calm before the storm, suggesting that she is currently consulting with her own team of architects to build a rebuttal that can withstand the weight of Boris's accusations. Others believe she is following a strategy of silence, hoping that if she does not engage, the storm will eventually pass. But in 2025, the digital memory is permanent. Boris's words, "Gülüm isn't as innocent as she seems," have already been etched into the stone of the internet. For her to remain silent is to risk allowing his narrative to become the definitive history of their time together. Behind the scenes, the industry is buzzing with rumors of a turning point. Some suggest that Gülüm is preparing a move that will reignite the accusations against others, perhaps even targeting the very person Boris praised, Yagma Yakul. This is a chess game played with reputations, and the next move could be the most explosive one yet. As we conclude this extensive exploration into the ruins of a relationship and the resurgence of a legend, we are left with a sobering realization. In the world of Mr. Magazine, we often see stars, but today, we saw a man. Barış Baktaş has chosen to be lucid and resolute at the cost of his own comfort. He has admitted his mistakes, he has honored his past, and he has exposed a mask that he could no longer bear to look at. Whether this leads to a reunion with Yagma Yakul, a total transformation for Gülüm, or a period of solitary reflection for Boris, one thing is certain: the last word has not yet been spoken. This story is a living, breathing entity that will continue to evolve in the coming weeks. Now, I turn the microphone over to you, the brilliant audience of Mr. Magazine. Do you think Boris was too harsh in his words about Gülüm? Do you believe that his mention of Yagma Yakul is a sign of a future project, or just a nostalgic regret? Let us know in the comments below. I read every single one of them. Please, do not forget to like this video if you appreciated the depth of this script. Subscribe to Mr. Magazine to ensure you never miss a revelation, and consider hitting that join button to support independent, high-quality celebrity journalism. Until the next scandal, until the next truth, stay curious, stay critical, and stay with us. This is Mr. Magazine, signing off.